is a new normal, I think, for California moving forward.
This cannot be the new normal. We can't accept it as the new normal, and we won't.
I hope it's not the new normal, but we got to do what we got to do.
I think it probably will become a new normal. I don't think that we should be okay with that.
All of a sudden, in a very strange way, this has become our new normal.
I fully expect the power to keep going down.
When they tell you they're going to turn it off, believe them.
I just think we're used to it around here now. If you don't have a plan, you should.
We're hoping that they're not doing this out of convenience. I hope it is definitely for safety.
I really don't believe that what the PG&E are saying, that the issue here is helping to prevent fires. I think a lot of it is greed.
I think that there's just like a lot of blame put on PG&E, and I think that they're trying to be as proactive as they can.
They should probably be investing more in putting their power lines underground, but that's about it.
Do you think they will?
Not unless someone kicks them in the butt.
It's going to take a lot of money from them to actually change the actual problem.
Do you think they will?
Not anytime soon.
This is not the new normal. This cannot take 10 years to resolve. We will hold them accountable.
The new normal. It's something many are talking about, and it's a conversation we want to continue as part of our commitment to building a better Bay Area. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Amma Dates. Year-round fire seasons, planned blackouts, evacuations in the middle of the night. It's enough to make people scared and frustrated and wonder, what is happening to our quality of life?
A lot of people asking that question. It's enough to make people think about moving out and wonder how we fix the problems in one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Fire, power, wind, what now? We have a special program to dig into all of this for you tonight.
The I-Team's Dan Noyes investigates PG&E and how we got to this point. ABC 7 News contributor Phil Mateer is here to discuss the real solutions to this classic California crisis. 7 on Your Side's Michael Finney investigates how consumers who lost money can get reimbursed. And meteorologist Drew Tuma looks at the science and history of our weather patterns. It's all coming up.
But first, a little perspective. In the last 3 years, California has endured more than 23,500 wildfires and still counting. They have burned more than 3.5 million acres and cost taxpayers and homeowners more than $600 billion. ABC 7 News reporter Wayne Friedman can talk about that and more for us tonight.
Yeah, Wayne, you live in the North Bay and have been reporting on the fires and the fallout for decades.
I have, I'm afraid to admit it, since 1981 here in the North Bay and all my life in California. As a kid, I grew up with these fires, but these are new. We have new levels of frequency and ferociousness.
It is the time of year when the leaves turn and we should be taking comfort. But in the fall, in California, it's not what it used to be. Tina Chandler of Sonoma County can tell you all about it.
I used to love fall. I used to love seeing the leaves roll down the street. You don't see any leaves because we don't have any trees to create leaves. And it's not the same.
Not in this land where wildfires now burn, not even close.
Walk away. Walk away. Can't do this again.
In the last 3 years, California has endured more than 23,500 wildfires and still counting. They have burned more than 3.5 million acres and cost taxpayers and homeowners more than $600 billion.
I'm going to call this more like a tsunami than I would be like a tidal wave of fire.
And as for the pain and suffering,
I would have never guessed that something like this could happen here.
It was something you couldn't even put into words.
If the phrase new normal has already become a cliche, that wouldn't count for some of the names that have made it that way. They're forever etched into our lexicon.
It's not looking good for getting people out.
Paradise.
Sheriff's office!
Tubbs. Last week we inducted Kincaid into the group. The town of Geyserville evacuated first, and it was a first for Debbie Mattis.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
What's it like, first time?
I cried a lot. It's scary. You know, you feel like you're going to lose everything.
It is the moment when so many of us have crossed that line between hearing about the ordeal and living it.
What are you worried about?
Not having a house when I come back.
What's the difference between you and them?
I haven't lost it all yet, and they did.
All right, thank you.
Joe Molesbury and his brother Dean own a grocery store near Mark West Springs Road in Sonoma County. When the Kincaid fire burned south into Windsor and Vinecrest Road last weekend, their homes stood directly in that path.
I would say it's a matter of when, with the wind at our backs.
We are not going to give up. We are going to take a stand.
There was no way it was going to be saved, and they saved it.
In a region of accumulating and compiled trauma, the Molesberries still paid a price. After losing $500,000 worth of food in 2017, they evacuated for 6 days, again in 2019. When their parents opened this store 60 years ago, they never imagined their sons dealing with the California we have now.
What would your parents say about all this?
They'd be shocked, as we are. You know, it was shocking the first time, but then to have it happen again, it's just unreal.
And it is happening in multiple layers. 4 times this year alone, PG&E has intentionally cut power to hundreds of thousands of us, all to keep the electrical grid from sparking more fires. That cost the Molesberries this year.
Okay, no chicken? I mean, it has to come in.
Then they're just one business among thousands facing a loss.
If it just gets shut off by PG&E, then the insurance doesn't take care of you. If a fire happens, you get taken care of by insurance. But if you lose everything, how do you start over again?
In past years, how many of us kept a mask close at hand? It's standard issue now.
It's the smell of smoke. It's making me nauseous.
That's a mental thing.
It's mental. It's post-traumatic stress. It's so many of our neighbors and our friends, family have it. It's a real thing.
It certainly is.
It was upsetting and horrific to think that my house would burn down twice.
If anyone understands PTSD, how about Dr. Diane Malnikoff? She evacuated from her rebuilt home last weekend, just 5 days after moving in. Time now for the therapist to appraise her own case of hyperanxiety.
Wanting to know, wanting to have information, wanting to have specific information, not getting the specific information, and being anxious about that. So I can analyze it, and I know what I'm going through, and I know what I'm going through, and what I'm feeling and experiencing is normal, but it still doesn't stop it from happening.
It happens from watching this. It happens from living this. Even if fire has not touched us, we're all part of California's figurative new tent city.
I don't really know what to think. You know, I just know my home's gone.
And our state challenged, if not changed.
So all of that, a continuing portrait of California's seasonal pain. What we saw this week, what we endured, just the latest brushstrokes. Dan, Amma?
Wayne, a lot of people really do feel like this is going to be the new normal. You could hear the emotion as you were talking to people. Anyone talking about seriously making the move to leave the area because of the fires and the outages?
You know, I think a lot of people talk about it. I'm not sure how many people will act on it, but it was interesting. The Molesbys told me about people going in their stores after the last fire just to say goodbye, that they were moving somewhere else, that they didn't want to deal with this anymore. I think the people who are most affected are those who have already lost a home and rebuilt. We asked several of those people, would you come back, would you rebuild again if you lost your home again? To a person, they said no, they would just go somewhere else. But as one other person said to me, I just want it to be normal again. And we said, well, that gets into the word normal, doesn't it? And he kind of rolled his eyes and said, yeah, whatever normal might be.
All right, Wayne Friedman reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Wayne.
Hard to tell what normal is these days, isn't it? Well, the magnitude of what PG&E calls public safety power shutoffs, those deliberate power blackouts, is unprecedented. We had 4 in 3 weeks' time. This past week, more than 1 million people went days without power in an effort to keep people safe.
Before we can talk about what PG&E needs to do to get it right, we need to talk about how we got here. ABC 7 News I-Team reporter Dan Noyes is here with that part of the story.
Amma and Dan, PG&E has been consumed with the outages over the past few weeks, but it's been a rough year since the company declared bankruptcy. And over the past 25 years, they've been hit again and again with lawsuits. After their equipment exploded and started fires, they've struggled to keep the lights on in Northern California. The latest rounds of planned power outages come after decades of problems for Pacific Gas and Electric. The utility has struggled since state lawmakers deregulated the energy producers in 1996. 4 years later, utilities faced the perfect energy storm. Power producers manipulated the markets, causing a power supply issue. Rolling blackouts left nearly 100,000 Bay Area customers without power. June 2000, PG&E experienced rolling blackouts caused by that deregulation. It left 97,000 customers without power in the Bay Area.
This task will not be easy.
January 2001, then Governor Gray Davis declared a state of emergency when blackouts caused by the energy crisis left several 100,000 customers without power. Governor Davis spoke with me from his Los Angeles office about those rolling blackouts.
I had 2 Republican leaders and 2 Democratic leaders. They all insisted that we raise rates because the utilities were going bankrupt. Well, the reason the utilities were going bankrupt was those same energy companies were charging like $1,000 for a megawatt hour rather than $15 a megawatt hour. So we all said no.
March 2001, another blackout turned out the lights on 1.5 million customers. 2 months later, in May, another 167,000 had the lights go out. The blackouts ultimately led to the ouster of Governor Davis. Voters blamed him for not solving the power crisis.
Well, I understood the problem at the time, Dan. I couldn't convince people, ratepayers, that Enron, Dynergy, Reliant, Duke, and the others, Southern, were ripping them off.
But it was just the start of PG&E's woes as the company's aging infrastructure led to a major catastrophe. On September 9th, 2010, a 30-inch natural gas pipeline exploded in the Crestmore neighborhood of San Bruno. 8 people died. It took the utility 60 to 90 minutes to shut off the gas that fed the fire. We later learned poor record-keeping and lax maintenance was to blame. The utility was found guilty of safety violations and obstructing justice, and a judge ordered PG&E to pay $90 million and spend $32 million more for safety and governance improvements. PG&E's maintenance of power lines came under fire again in 2017 when the utility's power lines were blamed for starting fires in the North Bay. When the flames were finally doused, more than 8,000 structures were destroyed, 44 people were dead, and at least 192 people were injured. Next year, an even more deadly fire. The Camp Fire erupted near Paradise, ignited by a faulty electric transmission line. It killed 88 people and destroyed 18,000 structures. Anticipating the massive number of claims resulting from the fire, the utility filed for bankruptcy and began to lay out their plan to prevent future wildfires, turning off the power in high-danger areas. They've now shut off power 6 times since they enacted their public safety power shutoffs. Even though they cut power to some areas, PG&E now says their equipment may have been responsible for at least 5 Bay Area fires this month. To what extent is deregulation in 1996 to blame for where we are?
Deregulation was entirely responsible for the problem in 2001.
I asked former Governor Davis if we learned anything from those early outages. What can be done now to make things better?
This problem is totally different. Climate change, worsening fires, more heat, far more casualties, much more property damage. But this problem can be solved by having a summit and the application of world-class technology. We will figure this out.
Now, one other note, Davis is giving Governor Gavin Newsom kudos for his handling of the current crisis, which includes his announcement today of a new energy czar, Amma and Dan.
Okay, and Dan, you've been covering these daily briefings on the PG&E.
It's been a long run, yeah.
Yeah, power blackouts, really every day almost. You've asked a lot of good questions in there. Thanks. What's been the mood in that room? It seems a little awkward and tense at times.
Definitely tense at times, but as the days go on, they seem to be more and more tired. I mean, clearly they're working a lot of long hours. But I have to give them credit to a certain extent that they would answer every single question. They would stay there until the reporters were all worn out.
Really?
But for this special report, though, I have to say that I wanted to do a one-on-one with the CEO, Bill Johnson. He declined, so I headed back to the company headquarters last night for another chance to question Bill Johnson in person. You've said that climate change played a major role in making these blackouts necessary. But can you admit that it was also a lack of maintenance and a failure to upgrade the system properly?
I really don't think the items you've mentioned are a cause of these PSPS events. I think it's a climate. If you were here yesterday, you saw how the wind speeds have increased over the years, the number of dead trees, the amount of fuel on the ground, the humidity. I think that's the cause.
Well, the argument's being made by the lawmakers and others that you diverted money meant for maintenance into shareholder profits. I mean, that's the line that's being used again and again and again for years and years. Is that accurate in your mind that that happened?
So, as I said, I got here May the 2nd. I really haven't gone backwards and looked at that. When I get a free moment here after fire season, I'm going to study up on that question. But at the moment, I don't have a view on that. I hear it. All I know is that since I've been here, we've been inspecting, we've been repairing, and we have been preventing catastrophic wildfires.
Now, moving forward, you've talked about how you have basically a 10-year time frame where a lot of work has to be done to make these blackouts not necessary. Widespread reaction was, that's too long. What can we do now? How can we get this done now so these aren't necessary?
Yeah, and when I talked about a 10-year period, I meant a 10-year period where PSPSs would get less every year, and at the end of 10 years, we'd be in a spot where we didn't need them.
Right.
I understand, we all understand, we're not going to do for 10 years what we've had to do this October. So what are we going to do? We are going to continue to inspect. We're going to harden the system, covered wire, tree wire, microgrids, resiliency zones. There's a number of things, and I think if we focus on those things harder, we can bring that time frame in, and we'll do so.
There are a lot of families who are right on the edge in terms of their finances. People are having a hard time affording putting food on the plate, yet here they are having to clear out their refrigerators. What do you say to people who just can't afford to restock their fridges and are losing all this food they've had in their households after these shutoffs?
So these events can be hard on people, really hard on people, and particularly people who have struggles anyways. And, you know, there are community-based things you can do, food banks, these kind of things. But for us, you know, the main thing is we didn't cause any fires. For these people, we didn't burn down any houses. The Kincaid fire is still under investigation. I got that. But, you know, one of the things we did was give them the opportunity to actually refill their refrigerator because their house is still there.
That talk about food banks and not burning down houses is getting a lot of reaction. What do you think? I'd like to hear from you on my Twitter or Facebook pages. Dan?
Okay. Thanks, Dan. ABC 7 News I-Team reporter Dan Noyes with tough questions for PG&E. He'll keep asking them, too. Thanks, Dan. Residents across the Bay Area definitely have opinions on these outages.
They need to do the right thing to stop a fire from happening. A fire is 10 million times worse than a power outage. So, you know, I'm kind of glad they're doing it.
If the fires keep happening and the power keeps getting cut, then it doesn't seem like the power being cut is actually doing anything.
All right, let's bring into the conversation here ABC 7 News contributor Phil Matier. Phil, always great to have you with us. Governor talked about this today, kind of announced a new plan forward to some degree. If this is going to be the new normal, let's talk about what the governor has in mind.
Well, what he has in mind is for it not being the new normal, and for a very good reason. Former Governor Gray Davis, who you just saw Dan talking with in the earlier segment, lost his job because of the rolling blackouts in 2001. And part of the reason he lost his job was that he didn't react fast enough.
He was slow to
Do you remember that?
I remember asking him directly if it was his fault. Everyone said it was his fault, and he did seem to drag his feet a little dealing with it.
And Gavin Newsom watched that, and he's not going to repeat it. So he rolled out an idea, or at least a big concept, of where he wants PG&E to go or else. Let's have a listen to what the Gavin said.
PG&E as we know it cannot persist and continue. It has to be completely transformed, culturally transformed, operationally transformed, with a safety culture first and foremost.
All right, let's talk about what that means, transformed. It's big, lofty language. What does that mean?
Well, I read through his plan. I think you read through it too. What was your impression?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's a lot of lofty language. There's some general ideas,
exactly,
but of course not that many hard specifics, which I get. It's early
The fact is, he doesn't have hard specifics. He's going to be convening PG&E and representatives from the state and the bankruptcy court. Remember, PG&E is going through bankruptcy, all up to Sacramento to talk about how can they change Sacramento's culture plus its priorities and get it some money to fix the lines so that we don't have a replay of it next year. Now, that's going to take probably some public dollars. As a matter of fact, there is a fund set aside for it right now. And if PG&E can get through its bankruptcy and possibly agree to the changes that the governor wants, he says they'll get the money. So in some ways, he's playing poker. He's saying, look, you've got this in the pot, but what are the cards? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to spend more on lines? Are you willing to green energy as well? What are you willing to do? And also, at the same time, convince the public that you should be getting help, because right now there is no mood in Sacramento for a PG&E bailout. The flip side, however, is that the governor knows you need the PG&E power.
Right.
So he's got to work something out.
It's a little bit of that too big to fail problem with PG&E.
Well, they are the only major utility in Northern California, and they may not be too big to fail because they could fail. They are in bankruptcy. One of the governor's cards is to say, if you can't run it, then maybe we have a public takeover. Now, that's expensive. We're talking about $40 billion plus.
And not easy to do. It's complicated work.
It's complicated work, and it would take time. And that's what Gavin Newsom does not have, is time. Because next year, there's going to be a fire season. Next year, there are going to be fires. The question is how many and how big. And next year, those same lines are going to be out there. So the clock is ticking on the governor, too, because he only has so much time to fix it before the public starts blaming him.
And next year, there's going to be something else, Phil, as you know, more of these PG&E blackouts, because we will not have had time to fix this problem.
Exactly. But in the interim, the idea is to say, can we get the commitments? Can we get a change of the course on this huge battleship called the single utility? Because if we break it up, it's going to be like trying to change a tire on a car while it's still moving, because you got to keep the power going. Can you make enough changes? Can you get them up there? Can we see some changes so that the public would be willing to invest both money and their patience for another couple of years? And if you can't solve it, at least try to shrink it down in the next 24 months to where, I hate to say manageable, because it's not manageable if it's your house.
Right. That's a good point. And to your point, Governor Newsom does not want to get caught in the same spot Gray Davis did, not being prepared, not reacting. So a lot of that is...
He's got a lot of building to do.
Thanks very much, Phil. Phil Matier is the San Francisco Chronicle's insider with columns running every Wednesday and Sunday in the San Francisco Chronicle. Thanks, Phil.
Up next, your food spoiled. Your business was shut down. Can you get reimbursed from PG&E? 7 on your side's Michael Finney has some answers.
This is Kristen Z. You may have seen a piece in the New York Times this week declaring it's the end of California as we know it. Coming up, we'll talk live with the writer about whether California really is over.
And is it time to bail on the Golden State? Well, some have already made their decision.
I may leave California. It's just entirely different. It's got so expensive and going through all this.
Probably wouldn't leave, but I understand people who want to.
I'm moving to Oregon.
Fire, wind, power, what now? We'll be right back.
They have spent decades not focusing on you, but focusing on themselves, focusing on shareholders, focusing with respect on Wall Street, not public safety, not their customers.
The governor is not pulling punches when it comes to PG&E, certainly. Almost daily, he is hammering the company about how they run the company.
7 on your side's Michael Finney takes a look at PG&E's pledge to give customers a one-time billing adjustment if they were part of the October 9th power shutdown, just that one. So who qualifies and could that change?
There is a lot of lingo here. PG&E says it's making a customer satisfaction adjustment because of the information problems surrounding the October 9th public safety power shutoff. What does all that mean? The October 9th public safety power shutoff sent thousands scrambling, some leaving the area, others buying generators, or just waiting in the dark with flashlights. So some are asking, is it fair for PG&E customers to bear the cost of a shutdown, especially that first one with all the confusion and lack of communication flowing from the utility to its customer? Governor Gavin Newsom called on PG&E to reimburse customers, and the utility agreed to pay residential customers $100 and business customers $250. Here's the governor 2 days ago.
While we are pleased that PG&E recognized their responsibility to the community by at least providing a baseline of support, and I recognize it's a modest step with these credits/rebates, we have an enormous amount of work to do to hold Pacific Gas and Electric accountable.
The consumer group TURN, the Utility Reform Network, says this is just barely a start.
The state should actually demand that PG&E reimburse customers for all of their damages. That's not likely to happen.
Still, TURN is telling PG&E customers to keep track of out-of-pocket costs and file damage claims with PG&E.
Customers should not be suffering in silence. They should speak out. They should file claims. We can't ignore the enormous costs of these shutoffs.
But PG&E says it plans no future power shutdown payments, saying the state approved the shutoffs. So why the payment for October 9th? Well, PG&E says it is willing to make that payment because of issues with its information website and call center, so customers went without communication and information. The utility leaving its customers literally and figuratively in the dark. Those that have the money coming will get it automatically on their bill over the next couple of billing cycles. So if you are not reimbursed, what should you do? Well, this is fluid. PG&E may never pay another dime for any shutdown, or it might. So keep receipts and notes so if payments are offered or ordered, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, good advice. Thank you, Michael. Sure.
Shifting winds and the changing shape of our fires. Climate change is definitely a contributing factor. Coming up, ABC 7 News meteorologist Drew Tuma will have that story next.
What do you think about this, them saying this is the new normal?
Global warming is coming. At this point, there's not much we can do about it. Well, there is, but we're not doing it.
Global warming and climate change certainly play a part in our fires and public safety power shutoffs.
ABC 7 News meteorologist Drew Tuma looks at that part of our coverage on fire, power, wind. What now?
Being in the eye of a California firestorm is terrifying on its own. But understanding the changing weather forces that are driving that intensity could spark a longer lasting fear.
The difference between a livable planet and an unlivable planet is not that many degrees increase in temperature.
Peter Glick has been tracking the effects of climate change in California and around the world for decades, and the patterns that have emerged can be measured in months of increased danger.
Looking back at the past 100 years, you can see the average temperature in California has risen 2.3 degrees Fahrenheit during the 5-month stretch between May and September, the summer fire season.
And while temperatures alone aren't responsible for the devastating fire patterns in California, experts believe they're part of a dangerous and combustible mix of factors now influencing the state's environment.
Over time, it's going to continue to get hotter and hotter, as we've already seen happen. We know that means soils are going to get drier. We know the dry season is going to extend longer and longer. And that's bad news for fire frequency and fire intensity.
And that evolution is now playing out on a staggering scale.
Watch what happened in the last decade alone. 4 of the top 5 largest wildfires in California have occurred in these 10 years.
These fires burn extremely hot with much vengeance, and they go very quickly.
The stress of fighting these mega infernos is taking a toll on manpower and resources, along with their frequency. Scott McLean of CAL FIRE remembers starting out in an era when California's fire season lasts for several months. And now, some consider it closer to year-round.
There are studies out there from the University of Merced that shows that the fire season has extended over the last several decades from 60 to 70 days longer now.
There was nothing they could do with that wind. Changes in the jet stream have also increased the frequency of high wind events, driving flames and embers higher and farther. And the cost is mounting, both in geographic and human terms.
In the past 2 years alone, 6 of the 10 most destructive wildfires in California occurred. The Camp Fire last year destroyed more than 18,000 structures and killed 85 people, more than any other wildfire in recorded history.
So what lies ahead for the state? Some argue that certain rural areas may become essentially unlivable. But experts like Peter Glick believe the future has as much to do with changing human behavior as it does with changing fire patterns.
So it's partly a question of understanding what these risks are and thinking about how to adapt to them. California's not going to disappear, but we have to figure out how to deal with these more dangerous, more frequent events.
And whether that means massive investment in the state's electrical grid and firefighting capability, or changing our thinking of where and how we live, it's clear that one constant in California's future is change. I'm Drew Tuma, ABC 7 News.
Well, what's happening with our weather and the power shutoffs is generating a lot of conversation. You're going to hear one student's poignant comments about it next.
Plus, is this the end of California as we know it? We're going to talk to a New York Times columnist who posed that question.
Fire, wind, power, what now? We'll be right back. Well, as we take a live look outside, the sun setting on the Bay Area, we want to talk about a letter written by a Mountain View teenager.
Yeah, Kate Armanini wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Times about her future in relation to the power outages and the new normal.
Yeah, here is Kate in her own words.
I live less than 2 hours south of the Kincaid fire. The air is heavy with smoke, and we were told not to go outside. Countless people from the high school I attend have lost power, and I know many others who have been evacuated from their homes. Is this the new normal? There seems to always be a fire burning in California. Last year during the campfire, my school canceled classes, which was unheard of at the time. We were given the impression that there would never be a fire of that severity again. And yet, here we are. Nothing has changed. I'm 16. I should not have to worry about the air quality or whether my power will be shut off, and no one should fear that his or her home might burn down. More preventative measures must be taken to prevent future fires so that we never have to experience this again.
Thank you, Kate. Coincidentally, another Mountain View resident appeared in the New York Times almost on the same day.
Yeah, Kristen Z has more on how it's really striking a nerve. Kristen.
And Dan, the Mountain View resident you're talking about is Farhad Manju, an opinion columnist for the New York Times. His piece is one of several this week in national publications, painting a bleak, almost apocalyptic picture of the Golden State. Farhad joins us now from his home. Thanks for joining us, Farhad.
Hey, good to be here.
You've been in California for a long time. I know you were born elsewhere, but you moved here. You're an immigrant like me, spent a lot of your life in Southern California, then 19 years here in the Bay Area. So you love this place, yet right now you are saying it's the end of California as we know it, and I don't feel fine. Those of us old enough to remember REM have special meaning to that one. But you say, I'm starting to suspect we are over. Why do you say that?
I mean, just look around us, right? Like, it's the fires, it's the fact that to put the fires out, we have to put the power out, the housing affordability, homelessness, traffic. I mean, traffic has gotten so bad. It's just sort of all of the problems. And the thing about all of these problems is they're all connected. They're all connected to this kind of larger problem, which is, you know, we have a lot of people here and we're not very sustainable in how we arrange those people, either through like urban planning or transportation infrastructure. It's all very kind of haphazard, and that leads to all of these kind of breakdowns in how livable this place is.
All right, so you say we have these problems that are man-made, yet to solve it, you say that's hard because we've got the wrong design, wrong tech, wrong incentives, and the wrong culture. That surprised me, right? Because here we are thinking we are the heart of innovation, we got the tech, and that we have this inclusive culture. So how could that all be wrong?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, California is very inclusive and progressive. I mean, we passed, you know, forward-leaning environmental laws. We're trying to do our bit for climate change. But in other ways, we're not very progressive. I mean, it's very difficult to get a lot of housing built here. It's difficult to get more transportation infrastructure built here. And then when we do try to tackle problems, we sort of tackle them for the rich and not everyone else. Like, one of the things that happened, you know, we spent a lot of money bringing Uber and Lyft into cities, and they've clogged up traffic, and they've been good for, you know, people who have money to use Uber and Lyft, but we haven't, you know, spent money on public transportation or as much. Like, those are the kinds of fixes where, you know, they don't serve everyone, or, you know, the one thing we've done for housing affordability is more and more people have to move further and further away from cities. That causes traffic. It also puts people in this areas where they're maybe more prone to fire. Like, all of our problems are connected in this way. And then I think if we were more inclusive, we would, you know, think about building more. We would think about transportation, you know, public transportation. But those kinds of things are much more difficult for, you know, for this region, for the state to kind of do through public policy.
Yeah, that is certainly not easy. But I have to say, with your article, you know, you really hit a nerve. People either think you're spot on and totally agree, or they think you're one of the many doomsayers out there who are painting this unreal picture of California, because after all, some of these problems that we struggle with, other regions do too. And then your critics point out, look, we've done more to try to solve them and tackle these problems than other places. So what gives?
Yeah, I mean, you know, California has always been kind of like on the edge, right? And people have always said maybe it's over this time, and we've just proven to be more and more attractive. So it's true, like we have solved problems before, and but I think that, you know, some of the problems that we have, things like traffic, things like sprawl, are problems that we in California kind of began and exported elsewhere, and then we should be, you know, we were the leader in sort of causing these problems, and I think we should be the leader in like solving them, especially through, you know, urban design, through planning, through infrastructure. Those are the big things that I think we lag behind other places. You know, Seattle is passing huge transportation bills, efforts to build more housing, and
Right,
we in California are sort of lagging behind those.
Yes, but as you said, we should be leaders in solving these problems. Farhad, that suggests to me that you're not going anywhere. You're not packing up, moving out. You're going to stay and try to be part of the solution. Am I right?
That's right. I mean, I'm staying. I feel like it's gotten more and more unlivable, but I'm staying.
All right. Farhad Manjoo, New York Times opinion writer, thank you so much. Dan and Alma.
All right, Kristen, great conversation with him.
It really was. Glad he's staying, too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work to be done, and he can help. Well, we've talked a lot about the new normal, and in terms of fire, power, wind, and what now, the mayor of Healdsburg definitely knows all about that.
Yes, his city has been in the middle of it all, but he says the expression, the new normal, is more powerful than the catchphrase it's become.
New normal is something that's been tossed around quite a bit, but the new normal also includes the resiliency factor of the communities that are impacted by these events, the ability to bounce back, convert a community center where there's kids' activities, there's soccer events, and within a few hours, welcoming people that are being evacuated from our neighboring communities. And that's the part that I think really shines through when you talk about new normal and preparedness and ready to jump into action.
It's amazing how people come together, and we want to hear from you. To continue this conversation, join our Building a Better Bay Area Facebook page and let us know your thoughts.
We love hearing from you, and I'll have some final thoughts on what really matters at the end of this broadcast. But still ahead, the AccuWeather forecast for your weekend.